So, felons are stripped of their rights given to law-abiding citizens when they're convicted. However, even after completing their sentence, ex-felons in some states still are unable to vote and may have even lost their voting rights for life. We, the Affirmative, are calling for all ex-felons to be able to regain the right to vote after the completion of their sentences. Our significance claim is that restoring voting is important because disenfranchisement, which is the depriving someone of the right to vote, has done significant harm to society, because ex-felons deserve a second chance, and because ex-felons have protection under the Constitution. Our inherency claim is that felons have paid their debt to society and are being denied a fundamental right. Lastly, our solvency claim is that allowing ex-felon voting will allow them to become better individuals and to feel more part of the community, and overall that will help make the community a safer environment. So first, for my first claim, that disenfranchisement has done significant harm to society. Subpoint A is disenfranchisement has helped create a racial divide within voting privileges. Harry J. Enton, a staff writer for The Guardian, wrote that the people overwhelmingly affected by the laws in place are minorities. Only 2.5%, or 5.8 million people, in the voting age population were made ineligible to vote by felon voting laws in 2010, according to the Sentencing Project. That percentage tripled to 7.7% among African Americans. Another way of putting this is that 38%, or 2.2 million, of all those stopped from voting by felon restrictions are black. About 1 million black ex-felons are disenfranchised. For subpoint B, disenfranchisement makes reintegration into society unnecessarily difficult. Proponents of the latest measure say that disenfranchisement of ex-offenders makes reintegration unnecessarily difficult, and that parolees are affected by political decisions for issues such as housing and employment. And lastly, subpoint A, disenfranchisement leads to a return to criminal conduct. The U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder was interviewed stating that the denial of voting rights increases ex-convicts' sense of stigma and isolation, which can in turn lead to returning criminal conduct. The effects can be particularly dire considering that the three strikes law and the war on drugs has resulted in felony convictions for many people who have committed relatively small crimes. My second claim is that ex-felons deserve a second chance. Subpoint A, ex-felons have paid their debt to society. The time spent behind bars is supposed to pay your debt to society for the crime committed, and then once you've completed your sentence, you're supposed to get out and be able to start over, to rebuild your life. And then this is not possible for many who can't find jobs, live in certain places, and can't qualify for government grants to attend colleges. Subpoint B, ex-felons go through rehabilitation and reintegration to become part of a law-abiding society. Allowing ex-felons to vote would help in their reintroduction into society because they learn the value of the law to strengthen their participation in common practices. Even prisoners will learn to respect the law and contribute to the common good with voting rights. And lastly, subpoint C, ex-felons are being denied one of the basic fundamental rights guaranteed to U.S. citizens. A Baltimore delegate, Corey McRae, was interviewed stating that when you can't vote, you don't have a seat at the table. Obviously, they've made mistakes, but these are our family members, our friends, our neighbors. These folks pay taxes. You can't leave 40,000 people out of the conversation on subject matters that directly and indirectly impact them, like criminal justice reform, housing, access to fresh foods, employment, and transportation. And also, like I said earlier, to deny the right to vote is also to convey to the disenfranchised that they are not welcome and that they are not part of the community. My last claim is that ex-felons have protection under the Constitution. Subpoint A, ex-felons are protected by the 8th Amendment. The 8th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution prohibits excessive sanctions and calls for punishments that fit and fence, according to proponents of restoring voting rights ex-felons. Permanently excluding all felons from voting would go against this amendment. So they've been seeing that often criminals are being convicted of being given a more serious charge than what they were actually, than the crime that they actually committed, so that is against the 8th Amendment. And lastly, there are constitutional bases for Congress's authority to enfranchise ex-offenders, which is to give them the right to vote. A professor of law at Columbia University said that there are 3 potential constitutional bases. 1, Congress's supervisory power over federal elections, found in Article 1, Section 4. Congress's enforcement power under Section 5 of the 14th Amendment. And lastly, Congress's enforcement power under Section 2 of the 15th Amendment. We feel that just by giving the felons a second chance and seeing where they take it, as long as they have done their duty and they have taken courses on or been lectured on how to become part of society and are truly aiming towards that, they should be given some rights to help them feel back into society.